Stories tonight.
National Development Strategy 2 to consolidate relationship between academia, innovation and industry.
Now look at business. Tourism operators welcome the 2026 national budget proposal.
And in sports news, Dynamos lift Chibuku Super Cup for the third season in a row.
We'll now give you the news in detail. President Emmerson Mnangagwa says the National Development Strategy 2 was designed to, among other things, enhance quality of education through science, vocational education, hence consolidating the relationship between academia, innovation and industry.
The Second Republic brought about economic stabilization through the Transitional Stabilization Program launched in 2018, which was succeeded by National Development Strategy 1, leading to unprecedented development across the country. As part of consolidating the gains achieved under NDS 1 and keeping the growth momentum, government this week launched National Development Strategy 2 for 2026 to 2030. President Mnangagwa said the economic blueprint was also designed to enhance the quality of education through exploiting the relationship between academia, innovation and industry.
With regards to science, technology, digitalization, innovation and human capital development, NDS2 has been designed to enhance the quality of education through science, vocational education training, and lifelong learning. The intricate nexus between academia, innovation, and industry is said to be consolidated. Job creation, entrepreneurship, youth and women empowerment, as well as the growth of the sport, creative and cultural industries remain of critical importance under my administration. Support for content creation resonates with nation building, development and value addition to aid industrialization, as well as entrepreneurship programs for youth and women will be enhanced. Additionally, government will continue to roll out measures to formalize small to medium enterprises, promote sport and creative industries, as well as protect intellectual property.
Devolution and decentralization remain critical towards the attainment of equitable regional development across provinces for the betterment of people's lives.
Our ZANU-PF-led government is a listening and a people-centered administration. Under my leadership, equitable regional development and inclusivity will be achieved across provinces through the accelerated implementation of the devolution and decentralization agenda. Under the National Development Strategy number 2, broader social development and the mainstreaming of cross-cutting development issues such as gender, disability, and overall social protection remain key. Strategic interventions, inclusive of modernization of our country's healthcare infrastructure, availability of medicines, expansion of health insurance cover, and implementing gender-responsive policies shall be rolled out at a faster pace. Meanwhile, unity, peace, security, and the integrity of our national institutions remain the required solid foundation upon which we must successfully implement the NDS number 2.
The fight against corruption remains government's top priority and will be key for the attainment of targets in the blueprint.
The strategy must entrench and deepen transparency, accountability. Our fight against corruption across all sectors will continue unabated. Zimbabwe will also continue to uphold international commitments on human rights, on peace and security, while fostering dialogue national unity and rule of law. With regards to the diplomatic and international relations front, we remain guided by our enduring philosophy that Zimbabwe is a friend to all and an enemy to none unless you choose. The strategy must give prominence to the Brand Zimbabwe initiative while continuing with the engagement and re-engagement policy which we pursue.
The successful implementation of NDS2, which is anchored on 10 pillars, is expected to accelerate development across the country's provinces, thereby positively impacting on people's livelihoods. Bruce Chawanda, SABC News, Harare.
ZANU-PF is sharpening its internal capacity as it moves to align party structures with the country's new economic blueprint, the National Development Strategy 2, by engaging the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development as well as the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. The Economic Affairs Secretaries met at the party headquarters for a capacity-building workshop aimed at unpacking NDS2 and outlining expectations for the ruling party under the new development trajectory. This comes after President Emmerson Mnangagwa officially launched NDS2 and the 2026 national budget, marking a transition meant to consolidate the gains achieved under NDS1. Let's hear more from Comrade Ndim Mhlanga, the party's Deputy Secretary for Economic Affairs and the Politburo.
Why we have gathered them is to unpack the NDS2, the National Development Strategy 2 from NDS1, so that they will be able to explain and downwards to the structures of our parties and ZANU-PF. And we have now come together with the representatives for the Reserve Bank and the Ministry of Finance, so that they also explain the processes. So what is it? The real situation is that you have had the Minister of Finance, Minister Professor Mthuli Ncube, putting across the budget. So that is the implementation process. The budget is the implementation process, but the NDS2 is the strategy which will be now implemented by the budget. So we have explained to our people the importance of the NDS2, that it is what people should live on to know how our economy is being run, the importance of supporting the presidential mantra.
A theme Zimbabwe reigned supreme when the First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa hosted a cultural gastronomic dinner at State House in Harare this Friday.
Culture and Heritage Ambassador, First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, hosted an impactful African-themed cultural gastronomic dinner at the State House Friday night, which was graced by her supportive husband, His Excellency President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa. Mother Zimbabwe hosted the dinner to show appreciation to the Angel of Hope Foundation partners and well-wishers for their unwavering support, which enables her to traverse the length and breadth of the country, carrying out her philanthropic work. The unfaltering support from these partners has allowed her to alleviate the plight of the needy across all provinces, including women, children, the sick, the elderly, widows, former ladies of the night, orphans, child-headed families, and street children. It was a night of glitz and glamour, with guests clad in beautiful national dress and indulging in Zimbabwean traditional cuisines and beverages while watching performances by some of Zimbabwe's finest artists. The experience gave attendees a sense of belonging and pride in the country's rich cultural heritage. The theme of the event, 60s Meet Modernity with National Pride, featured guests dressed in outfits blending national fabrics with a touch of 60s flair. Not to be outdone was a fashion show that showcased beautiful pieces made from the national fabric by local designers including Ivo Tribe, Zalgesia, Tendai Majinye, and Albert Giachea. In a bid to promote the consumption of traditional dishes which are highly nutritious and medicinal, Mother Zimbabwe treated guests to an array of mouth-watering traditional foods. Also on the menu was the homemade alcoholic brew, popularly known as 7 Days, prepared by experienced elderly women, which proved to be the favorite of many. Owing to the host, Dr. Mnangagwa's inclusive approach, the well-coordinated and oversubscribed event brought together Zimbabweans from all walks of life, including ministers, traditional leaders, artists, and foreign dignitaries. In her address, Dr. Mnangagwa took time to express gratitude to His Excellency President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa for supporting her and allowing her to move around the country with empowerment and philanthropic initiatives. She also thanked the Angel of Hope Foundation partners for their unwavering support, which enables her to carry out philanthropic work across the country.
I want to recognize my partners. We have traveled with me all the way from 2018 until today. Baba, I want to thank you very much that you've allowed me to go everywhere I feel like going and doing what I feel those people need. My partners, thank you very much, and that every year you support me through and through. All what I am doing is because of you. All what I'm doing is because of the hand that you lend to me. And when I go to the people out there, I go with something that I will leave for them. But your hand is seen in that work as well. I'm just a tool that is being used, but your hand is moving with me. God bless you. My friends, all my friends who have come, I want to thank you very much. Thank you very much for your support.
The First Lady added that she had prepared the cultural night in honor of all the cultures in the country that make us uniquely Zimbabwean. As Speaker of Parliament, Advocate Jacob Mudenda paid glowing tribute to President Emmerson Mnangagwa for being a liberal husband who has allowed the mother of the nation to be who she ought to be.
We have come this evening to fundraise so that the Angel of Hope continues to be the hope of this nation, continues to be the hope of Africa, continues to be the hope of the international community. It is our hope that this gathering will grow in the partnership in supporting your philanthropic work. And of course, good things are good things. Mkaka, aurungwe.
The Minister of Tourism and Hospitality Industry, Honorable Barbara Rodzi, was also in attendance, and she highlighted Mother Zimbabwe's numerous initiatives which have positively impacted the country's various sectors, including tourism and health. She said the First Lady has earned names like Mother Africa and the Queen of Gastronomy from her international admirers.
Tonight we want to first of all thank you, the President. You are the first business partner. We know you are the husband. But tonight we are speaking of the partners of Angel of Hope. You are the first person who allowed our First Lady to do all these works. We are here to thank the partners of Angel of Hope, to celebrate the works that you have been supporting our First Lady since 2017. But most of you have been supporting the First Lady ever since she was a wife of an MP, a wife of a minister, a wife of a vice president, and today the First Lady of the Republic of Zimbabwe. We thank you and we celebrate.
Musicians will include V from Botswana, the In Toto Band, Police Band, Mbeu, Cynthia Mare, and Prince Chiguida provided entertainment, keeping guests on the dance floor. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Harare.
The Sanyati community has welcomed the establishment of a new boarding facility at Neuso High School, a key step in strengthening education services in the rural district.
Neuso High School in Sanyati, Mashonaland West is set for a major transformation, with authorities expediting its upgrade into a fully functional boarding school by the beginning of January next year. The development follows the completion of modern boarding facilities, a milestone expected to trigger downstream benefits, which include stronger uptake of STEM subjects at A level.
Saka development ndiona yakanaka zvokuti vabereki ngavaimbrese vasapotewo.
Pachasimudziro wechikoro kwedu chakubatsira nemalaboratory pachikoro pedu emasainzisi atanga tisina zvinhu zvizhinji zvatatisina zvavapo, and then vana vaigara kure vakukwanisa kugarawo mudhuze vachigarawo pachikoro.
Vana vazhinji vanga vachingoti vakapedza chikoro vamwe voenda kukorokoza vamwe kumutoriro, mozova mwana akadzidza anove mwana akapembenuka asina umondi.
Vana vose vanga vachienda kuchikoro kure vakudzidzira padhuze.
A brainchild of a local company, DCK Group of Companies, the development demonstrates the power of collaboration between government, the private sector, and local communities.
When we say we are not making a slogan, but it's a call to action. This is testament of the leadership, His Excellency Dr. E.K. Mnangagwa, to say it is our duty as citizens of this country to take up our space and actually develop our own areas.
Commissioning the facility, Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Dr. Torirai Moyo said upgrading rural learning institutions remains a top government priority.
Under Vision 2030, together with NDS 1 and NDS 2, the national agenda prioritizes schools that are safe, digital ready, and capable of producing globally competitive learners. The developments we commission today stand as a practical expression of that vision, demonstrating how public-private partnerships can accelerate progress.
With the countdown now underway, Neuso High School is preparing to usher in a new era that will not only expand access to education, but also strengthen the country's drive towards science-based learning.
Zimbabwe is this weekend bidding farewell to a towering spiritual figure and national hero, Archbishop Paul Mwaja, a man revered for his lifelong dedication to faith, unity and moral upliftment of communities.
Earlier this Saturday, the body of the late national hero, affectionately known as Mutumwa Mwaja, departed his Hatfield residence for Charles Kumbo Barracks, where it was airlifted to Sadza Business Center in Chikomba East. From there, the body was then taken to Gurambwa, where it will lie in state until Sunday morning. Church leaders reflected on Archbishop Mwaja's profound influence on Zimbabwe's spiritual landscape and socio-economic contribution.
Munhu akanga aine tsitsi akaona munhu anotambudzika. Munhu anga aine tsitsi achitopinza vana, munhu akasumuka achireura, ndakaomerwa zvakadai vana vangu havasi kuenda kuchikoro.
Munhu akatumwa naMwari kuvanhu veAfrica kuti vanhu veAfrica vazive kuti vanhu vakafanana nevamwe vanhu uye vane kodzero yokunamata Mwari nenzira dzekuno kuAfrica.
Munhu wakatumwa naMwari kuti asimudzire isusu atema pakuti tiseberi pedyo naMwari.
Saka tine mufaro mukuru nokuti isu pachedu hatisi kuchema, asi tiri kupemberera upenyu hwegamba rakadzidzisa nekubata basa raMwari mupasi rose. Uye mubasa munyika ino yavatema ndiye umwe wevamwe akasimudzira chinamato chedu chevatema. Saka muchinzwa tichiti Afrika yedu.
Paul Mwaja waAfrica akapuwa masimba naMwari okuti vose vaitambudzika, vaiti vanorwara vaivanamatira vachipora, vasina vana vaivanamatira voita vana.
Now, the National Heroes body has since arrived in Chivu, an area called Sadza, right there in Chivu, ahead of a burial tomorrow. May his soul continue resting in eternal peace. Now, in other news, statistics indicate that the national budget announced by Treasury has almost doubled since 2018 to $9 billion announced for the year 2026.
Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Professor Mthuli Ncube, announced that Zimbabwe's economy has grown to a nominal gross domestic product of $52 billion, translating to a GDP per capita of $3,000, a significant milestone in the growth of the economy towards the attainment of an upper middle income society by the year 2013. A trend analysis of the national budget indicates a steadily growing national cake, which stood at $5 billion in 2018 and has nearly doubled to $9 billion as of the year 2026, as announced in the national budget by Professor Mthuli Ncube on Thursday. Analysts contend that these statistics alone indicate an economy on a robust growth trajectory.
Increase in the budget on a year-on-year, if you look back to probably 2018 to date, speaks to various factors, chief being the gradual economic growth which we have achieved both in the formal and informal sector, as well as commensurately increase in the tax base that is taxable for budget considerations. And also the ambitious plan to increase or to modernize our infrastructure in a way that capacitates the economy and advances the new capital formation of the economy.
In 2018, allocations to the Health Ministry stood at $447 million and has doubled to $997 million, a demonstration of improved health delivery to the nation.
This only reflects an economy which is doing quite well. This only reflects an economy which is progressing significantly in terms of the key economic variables. And what is important is to entrench this growth. What is important is to also entrench the stability that this growth is coming.
Minister Ncube announced that the budget will be sustained by the National Development Strategy 2 policy document, which was launched by President Emmerson Mnangagwa on Thursday. NDS2 is set to anchor and catalyze the accelerated growth of the country to reach an upper middle income economy by the year 2013. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
In a vital push for men's health, the Mvurwi Lions Club, in partnership with Mvurwi Hospital, today held a free prostate cancer screening directly tackling stigma and late diagnosis in a health landscape where men are often left behind.
At Mvurwi Hospital in Mashonaland Central Province, we witnessed a critical intervention. Men aged 55 years and above came forward for free prostate cancer screening, overcoming a significant barrier not just of access, but of deep-seated fear and cultural stigma, which often prevents men from seeking help early.
Atiwanzoda kuenda muzvipatara ngatite chivindi chokuuya kuti miri yedu tinzoti yakamira sei. Seofa ndawana stage 1 nda screen yandaitwa.
Nokurudzira vamwe varume kuti vauye, hungu varume vanonyara kunzwa arwara murume haadi kunzwa kunzi arwara, saka tinofira muchest uku tinenge tichirwara. Asi isusu takunda kuti tiuye kuno kuti tiitwe screening.
Organizers of the free prostate cancer screening program stress that overcoming these cultural barriers is one of their key missions. They also stress that when a man neglects his health, the entire family bears the burden.
If men are not healthy, the community is affected at large because they are the heads of most families. So this program is to ensure that men are taking charge of their health always, and to ensure that we have a healthy community with healthy men.
About 68.3 per 100
per 100,000 males, they are diagnosed with prostate cancer. And we have seen that the fatality or the death rate is about 10% of those who have been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
By promoting preventative care and working to reduce the cancer mortality rate, this initiative actively supports the national agenda for a stronger, healthier Zimbabwe under Vision 2030. Nyasha Makota, ZBC News, Mvurwi.
Groombridge Government Primary School students are back home after a victorious participation in the World Robotic Olympia in Singapore this week. The team of 3 grade 6 students from the Harare-based school, namely Shane Mapanga, Anashe Nyamasoka and Ray Parwada, all aged 11, came out tops and flew the country's flag high during the competition, which ran from the 26th until the 28th of this month. 94 countries were represented at the competition.
Oh, congratulations and thank you for raising our flag high. Remember, these and more stories are available on our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw. You can also link up with us on various social media platforms. We are ZBC News Online. And here are stories still to come in this bulletin. Operators welcome the 2026 national budget proposal. Our leading sports story tonight, Dynamos lift Chibuku Super Cup for the 3rd season in a row. Well, stay with us for these and more stories in detail after this break.
Public Notice 2025 Parole and Reintegration Conference. The Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Ziyambi Ziyambi, and Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service Commissioner, General Dr. Moses Sirio Ngawaite Chiobvu, proudly announces the Zimbabwe Regional Parole Conference 2025, a landmark national forum dedicated to strengthening the future of rehabilitation and community reintegration in Zimbabwe. Parole remains a key pillar in promoting community safety, supporting effective rehabilitation, and giving deserving offenders a structured second chance. As Zimbabwe continues modernizing its correctional system, collaboration and shared expertise have never been more essential. The conference is slated for 1 to 4 December 2025 at Rainbow Hotel, Jacaranda Rooms in Harare. This important conference will bring together local and international experts, policymakers, practitioners, and community stakeholders to explore innovations, challenges, and best practices in parole management and reintegration. Attendees can look forward to impactful presentations, strategic discussions, and forward-thinking ideas that will contribute to safer communities. Join the experience live. The entire event will be live streamed on the official ZPCS Facebook page, Zim Papers Television Network, ZTN, and all Zim Papers Facebook platforms. Don't miss this unique opportunity to understand how parole works, why it matters, and its vital role in building a safer and more rehabilitative society. Follow the ZPCS Facebook page to stay updated, receive the live stream link, and stay connected to real-time insights from this national event. ZPCS for incarceration, rehabilitation, and reintegration of offenders into the society.
The Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe would like to warn all motorists to avoid speeding at all times. Speeding can cause premature death and death to innocent lives. Do not be tempted by others to race because speeding kills. Do not drink and drive, as this can also lead to speeding, and this is hazardous to life. This message was brought to you by the Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe.
Welcome wherever you are. And Mamouche, room to shoot! well and truly did. It's an opportunity. What a shot to Sudo! Tarkowski! Scott's got to be careful. Bukayo Saka! But it's Salah, and that one delivers!
Never miss a play, home or away. Stream all Premier League games live on Showmax.
Welcome back. The late Ambassador Thomas Vuma, who died on the 24th of this month, has been buried at Glen Forest Cemetery in Harare. The details from Wellington Makonese.
Family and friends gathered at Glen Forest Cemetery this Saturday as they laid to rest the late Ambassador Vuma, who they described as a unifier and family man.
He was the epitome of humility, kindness, tenacity, and in each and every activity that he engaged in, be it in his job, in his family, or anything that involves the facet of him.
Ambassadors who worked with the late attested to his unwavering commitment to service.
My comrade, you've been a family member to me, you've been my brother, you've been everything to me. You are a hero of Zimbabwe.
We really lost who was writing our history, particularly the liberation history. He wrote poems. A lot of children in schools are actually reading his poems. He also wrote a book. Instac actually gave him an opportunity to launch that book. So he has left a very glamorous history.
We started our diplomatic career together. We learned what diplomacy is all about.
Beyond diplomacy and public service, Ambassador Vuma was one of the few published authors to document the liberation struggle from an insider's perspective. He leaves behind his wife, 3 children and grandchildren. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
That report, in fact, from Memory Chamisa, taking us to our Montrose studios in Bulawayo, where Sibugele Maposa is on standby. Sibugele, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. It's good to see you. Hello, Zimbabwe. We now carry on with the news. The Industry 5.0 framework has been identified as a key accelerating tool in industrial productivity by emphasizing the adoption of new technologies and capacitating local human capital in using modern machinery.
The Industry 5.0 framework places human capital, sustainability and green technologies at the core of industrial progress. The policy was under spotlight during the 32nd annual conference of the Business Council for Sustainable Development Zimbabwe in Bala this Friday.
What we have seen as a key priority for the industry is actually adopting circularity, which makes sure that it's not longer an issue of making and also disposing, take, make, dispose, but now we have closed loop, which means we reduce the final waste and we also ensure that in the process we don't burden our ecosystem. We have also implemented a lot of measures with regards to energy conservation and energy efficiency, which also assists in decarbonizing the energy systems.
With the launch of the National Development Strategy, government is accelerating policy reforms to build a modern, low-carbon and future-ready industrial base.
The ministry is intensifying its policy reforms to ensure that Zimbabwe's reindustrialization and industrialization is not only competitive, but also sustainable and future-ready. We recognize that the next generation of industries must be built on foundations that protect the environment, conserve resources, and align with international sustainability benchmarks.
With global markets expanding, particularly owing to the African Continental Free Trade Area, Zimbabwean firms have been urged to prioritize competitiveness.
All companies that are in the manufacturing sector are gaining competitive advantage because of their compliance with ESG that has seen them attain subsidies in some sectors, attracting cheaper financing, which makes them competitive in terms of their pricing. And this is a very critical industrialization tool. So we must view ESG not just as a compliance tool, but as a reindustrialization tool.
The government is intensifying efforts to accelerate investments, specifically targeting projects that support retooling, capacity expansion, and the deep integration of green technologies. Hiland Moy, ZBC News, Bulaya.
The Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veterans Association is conducting national engagements with war veterans in various provinces to address their welfare.
Economic emancipation of war veterans was the discussion point during the Matabeleland South Province War Veterans Engagement in Umzingwane this Friday.
All districts are present here, are represented. And what I can simply say, from the knowledge which we had as the National Executive, we thought we have enough about our comrades. But it's an eye-opener from these visits or from these meetings which we were doing right around the country in all the 10 provinces. And our comrades are showing us that we cannot do anything alone. We can do everything together.
To take engagements with war veterans at their provinces rather than just going to Harare for national meetings and so forth. But we have come here to Mat South, like other provinces, I think about 5 of them, that we have 6 of them that we have already visited. And now today we are in Mat South.
Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Albert Ngulube, rallied war veterans to embrace empowerment opportunities being availed by the Second Republic.
They must unite. Regardless other uka league and uka association, all of them are one. So that was the office nyanga mudachida as long our veterans at Wuzuruka League uka association.
A government is seized with the emancipation of war veterans, having created a standalone ministry that deals with their issues.
Government says the uptake of traditional grains which are drought resistant is key to attaining food security.
The second edition of the International Traditional Grains Conference, held in Bulaya this Friday, brought together local and international agriculture experts to chart how smallholder crops such as sorghum, pearl and finger millet can anchor the country's agricultural transformation. Officiating at the event, Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development Minister Dr. Angus Masuga said traditional grains are crucial in building a climate-proof food system.
Zimbabwe is an agro-based economy. So it is agriculture that must cause the transformation. 62% of our population resides in rural areas. They are daily involved in subsistence agriculture. So it is agriculture done differently that is going to uplift them out of poverty towards Vision 2030. And that's the space for traditional grains. And we've captured the role and context of traditional grains in Zimbabwe in the agriculture, food systems and rural transformation strategy, the first launched by the President in August 2020, and more recently, the agriculture, food systems and rural transformation strategy 2026 to 2030, launched on the 29th of October in Mutare, Manicaland.
Dr. Masuga also stressed the need for the nation to embrace the uptake of traditional grains, emphasizing their role in promoting nutrition and preserving culture.
We must move beyond assurance of food security to food sovereignty. We have seen supply chain disruptions occasioned by pandemics such as COVID, macroeconomic shocks, but also more recently conflicts.
With India being a global leader in farming, Zimbabwe is aiming to follow suit.
We have witnessed significant expansions in agriculture output in the past decade, recording 40% growth and achieving surplus capacity for exports. In financial year 2025, agricultural exports touched an all-time high of $51.86 billion, up from $48.15 billion in financial year 2024.
The International Traditional Grains Conference ran under the theme Empowering Value Chains Through Innovation, Mechanization, Policy and Culture. Lisa Correa, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Well, that'll be all from the Montrose News Desk. I am Sibigele Maposa, now circling back to Pockets Hill, where Yvonne and Joyce will be taking us through the rest of the bulletin from this end. Good evening.
Indeed, good evening, Sibigele. Now moving on with the bulletin from our Pockets Hill studios, more than 200 digitized title deeds have been issued to date as the government moves to empower citizens.
The rollout of digitized title deeds is part of government's ongoing efforts to empower citizens and secure land ownership.
The deeds office is digitized. We've got a command center where everything is happening in one place. So the conveyancers themselves will simply feed in information from the comfort of their offices. So because of that, the system that we have is able to produce 1,000 title deeds in a day.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs has reaffirmed its commitment to modernizing service delivery by encouraging its workforce to embrace digital innovation. This call was made during a ceremony held in Harare this Friday to honor long-serving ministry employees for their dedication and years of service.
I feel very, very greatly honored. I have served the ministry for over 33 years, starting as a public prosecutor. Then I became a magistrate thereafter. Then I moved on to the Ministry of Justice Radio Office, and I rose through the ranks to become the Chief Director.
Uchipinda basa, have a passion nebasa rako. Kwete kulopinda kutsvaga mari.
Njedzo yandingapa kune vechidiki ndeyokuti vasiyane nezvinodhaka.
The Deputy Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Norbert Mazungunye, said the ministry was prioritizing digital transformation to improve efficiency, accountability and access to justice.
Every day, things are changing. The world is evolving, and even our laws, they are also evolving. So we have to move with speed, and the only way we can ensure that we offer effective service delivery nowadays is if we modernize and we go digital.
The event highlighted the ministry's ongoing reforms, which include digitizing court processes, enhancing legal aid services, and aligning justice delivery with the national development priorities. Peter Chivina, ZBC News, Harare.
Well, a story there where more than 2,000 digitized title deeds have been issued to date as the government moves to empower citizens. Meanwhile, people with disabilities have hailed the Second Republic for ushering in an inclusive development agenda after 15 persons with disabilities and those with albinism in Kadoma received residential stands from a local philanthropist, Professor Kudakwashe Taruberekera.
After President Emerson Mnangagwa handed over vehicles and wheelchairs to people with disabilities, Kadoma-based land developer and philanthropist Professor Kudakwashe Taruberekera has followed the same example. This Thursday, 15 people with disabilities and those with albinism received residential stands, a gesture that brought joy and relief to the beneficiaries.
Empowerment yakakurisa zvikuru kumunhu akaremara. Kuroja kunogosha
tachingotarisirwa pasi mudzimba dzatachiloja tachingodzingwa saka zvatipawo mukana wekuti tizvitirewo zvedu
kuburikidza nedingindira rekuti leaving no one behind tiri kuona techisumukira zvikuru.
Professor Taruberekera said the donation reflects his commitment to uplifting vulnerable groups.
Nyika yedu yakasununguka kuti munhu unogona zvaanogona ngaaite zvichisimudzira nyika yedu sezvinoita president wedu. President naye kurasika zvedu nomafungiro edu asiriwo, but president jeje naye istofanira kutora zvaari kuita tobva tanozviitawo paground.
Philanthropist Comrade Jimaya Mdovuri also praised the initiative.
Kuti vamwe vekumaprovince uko vane zvinokwanisa zvimakwanisiro, please disability vakawandisa ngatizameni patikwanisa pose tiite mumonero mukuru wenyika kuti zvakaita zviro zviya vakusizo zvoga zveikona president Mnangagwa tikone kuzvitaura
The handover coincided with Kadoma Seed's 25 years silver jubilee, where authorities highlighted the developmental impact of the government's devolution policy.
Ndinoti kune mamwe makanzuru ese ngatiteedzerewo zviri kuita Kadoma. Kadoma iri kukura, vana vemuno ndo vari kuvaka sekutaurwa kuzviita naPurezidendi kuti nyika inovakwa nevene vayo. Ndaona zvaitika pano kuti vana vemuno, mabusinessmen vemuno muKadoma ndo vari kucontributa kuti Kadoma inge iri zvairi nhasi.
The Jewel event served as a symbol of progress that is both developmental and inclusive, highlighting a shared vision that dovetails with the national mantra of leaving no one and no place behind. Tamuka Charakupa, ZBC News, Kadoma.
Government has praised young people working in different sectors of the economy for heeding the call to be part of the national building process.
Young people are not being left behind the country's growth trajectory, with several of these pacesetters being honored at the Mashonaland Central Youth Association Empowerment Forum Awards held in Bindura.
I really want to thank His Excellency the President of Zimbabwe for his unwavering support towards the youth. To get this award, I feel so exhilarated because it shows that we are following the President's path towards Vision 2030.
So I'm very happy kuti mabasa akanaka tiri kuita muma communities ari kuonekwa kuti tiri kushanda sevechidiki tichiramba manyaya dzema-drugs tichisupporta youth empowerment uyezve tichiita ma-programs muzvikoro.
Apart from the youths, business people, politicians and war veterans were among the 105 recipients of the awards.
Kunzwa kufara uye ndiri kukurudzira madzimai ese anongonzi madzimai nyanye chirikadzi dzakaita seni kuti azvityisi kuita zvemining. Zvinongoda kuzvipa nguva yako nokuisa pfungwa pamwe chete kuti ubude neresult rakanaka.
Ndinoda kuti ndisiye basa iri kumaoko emayouth kuti pavari kuyemura basa rangu ivo vatorewo kubva pandiri. Ndiri kurevera kuti ndiri kuda kuguruma.
Mashonaland Central Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Christopher Magomo, said no nation can develop without mainstreaming youth development.
Your entrepreneurship, productivity and ingenuity are the very engineers that will propel our provincial GDP and secure a prosperous future for Zimbabwe. You are the game changers of today.
The awards ceremony also witnessed the Zimbabwe Miners Federation, represented by Mr. Tichao Namzane Namo and Ms. Christine Munyoro, giving special honors to First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa and Chief Negomo for spearheading socio-economic development projects across the nation. Tapiwa Machemeze, ZBC News, Bindura.
The government continues to register milestones in rural development with the Muterere community in Honde Valley, Manicaland province, having benefited from a piped water scheme.
Located on a high terrain in Honde Valley, the Muterere community has been facing acute water challenges during the dry season. The establishment of a piped water scheme has come as a major relief to villagers whose stories are now part of the successes of the Second Republic under the vision for the country to attain an upper middle income society status by 2030.
Mazuano tagwa takachena. Ngoti aungadza mawasheni kumira kwenda kwapungo. Kuti unzi wageza wabuda panze wafamba imvura. Kuti udye imvura. Hakuna chaungadya chisingabudikidzi nemvura.
Kawaniswa mvura yakachena. Taiwa nedambudziko remvura. Vana vaiita bilharzia, vana vaiita diarrhea.
Taishupika tichifamba kwenda kumatsimi makilometers akati wandi kunochera mvura. Mvura yataichera yanga isiri mvura yakachena.
Health authorities are upbeat that the availability of clean water will have a positive impact on healthcare services.
Chaiwa chiri chidambudziko guru rekuti madzimai anga asikatouya achitosunungukira panzvimbo ino waitoprefer kuenda kumamwe ma-health institution anenge ane mvura, saka izvozvi mvura yavapo.
Government and the local leadership say the piped water scheme speaks to the able leadership of President Emmerson Mnangagwa.
Mvura yedu iri kukwanisa kusumudza matank 5 ari kuzadzwa nemvura ma 5000 liters emvura. Vanhu vedu kubvira pavane project iri kukava
Muterere High School, Muterere Clinic, Muterere Community neMuterere Primary. Ndira kutenda vision ya president.
The community, the school and the hospital vese vanga vachinochera mvura kure zvese zvachivaita exposed to diseases anosanganwa nawo panzvimbo dzinenge dzichinetsa mvura, but that has been a thing, that is now a thing of the past.
The piped water scheme has not only provided water to the local community and institutions, but has also provided dignity and hope for a brighter future to beneficiaries. Kenya's Chivuje, ZBC News, Mutasa.
Government has called on stakeholders to play a part in protecting the public from the harmful effects on online gambling amid their addictive nature. Zimbabwe has more than 500 gambling license holders, with the industry emerging as a substantial revenue stream for government. During the Lotteries and Gaming Annual General Meeting held in Harare this Friday, the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Honorable Chido Sanyatwe, outlined plans to monitor operators, promote awareness on gambling harm, and ensure compliance with existing regulations.
Gaming must never be permitted to generate into a source of social harm. The board operators and civic organizations are therefore urged to strengthen responsible gaming practices as a matter of duty and conscience. This includes establishing a clear safeguards against underage participation, designing mechanisms to prevent addiction and financial distress, and embedding early warning signs that protect vulnerable consumers. Beyond regulation, there is a moral obligation to conduct public awareness campaigns that educate citizens on the risk associated with excessive gambling, while promoting a culture of moderation and responsibility.
Let's now take a look at business news. Tourism operators have welcomed the 2026 national budget proposal, saying it brings renewed optimism for a sector which has registered impressive growth patterns over the last few years.
The 2026 national budget projects a 3.1% growth of the tourism sector, driven by an expected increase in arrivals from major source markets. International tourist arrivals are forecast to rise from 1.79 million in 2025 to 1.87 million in 2026, boosted by enhanced marketing efforts and improved visibility of Zimbabwe's iconic destinations such as Victoria Falls, Hwange National Park, and the Eastern Highlands. Tourism players say the projections are realistic and encouraging.
The provision of importation for capital goods related to the tourism industry, those will ensure that players in the tourism sector can not only grow their capital, but improve the services that they offer to tourists.
For others, the budget marks a renewed commitment to international marketing.
The budget gives room for inclusive growth, and when we look at the deployment of attaches, it actually shows that the government is very serious about promoting our tourism destination.
Sector leaders say the GDP contribution outlined in the budget is attainable, supported by rising arrivals and expanding air access.
This is achievable with all the facilitation that we expect in the destination, one of which is improved air access. This is very critical for us to have direct international flights from our traditional and new source markets.
We managed to host international exhibitions, conferences such as COP, as well as local or domestic conferences. The sum of that gives confidence to the world as a whole, because with the endorsement of Forbes, that just cements that the destination is able to increase flux of tourists.
As part of strengthening market development and diversification, government will in 2026 deploy tourism attaches to 6 additional emerging markets, namely Russia, Brazil, Canada, Nigeria, Turkey and Australia. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
News at 8 takes a break and we'll be back with more. To stay with us.
Public Notice 2025 Parole and Reintegration Conference. The Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Ziyambi Ziyambi, and Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service Commissioner, General Dr. Moses Siriaungawaite Chiobvu, proudly announces the Zimbabwe Regional Parole Conference 2025, a landmark national forum dedicated to strengthening the future of rehabilitation and community reintegration in Zimbabwe. Parole remains a key pillar in promoting community safety, supporting effective rehabilitation, and giving deserving offenders a structured second chance. As Zimbabwe continues modernizing its correctional system, collaboration and shared expertise have never been more essential. The conference is slated for 1 to 4 December 2025 at Rainbow Hotel, Jacaranda Rooms in Harare. This important conference will bring together local and international experts, policymakers, practitioners, and community stakeholders to explore innovations, challenges, and best practices in parole management and reintegration. Attendees can look forward to impactful presentations, strategic discussions, and forward-thinking ideas that will contribute to safer communities. Join the experience live. The entire event will be live streamed on the official ZPCS Facebook page, Zim Papers Television Network, ZTN, and all Zim Papers Facebook platforms. Don't miss this unique opportunity to understand how parole works, why it matters, and its vital role in building a safer and more rehabilitative society. Follow the ZPCS Facebook page to stay updated, receive the live stream link, and stay connected to real-time insights from this national event. ZPCS for incarceration, rehabilitation, and reintegration of offenders into the society.
Welcome back. The National Arts Council of Zimbabwe has entered a new era of digital transformation, signing a memorandum of understanding with Bindura University of Science Education for the development of a nationwide online registration platform for artists.
For years, the arts sector has relied on manual paperwork processes that often stretched for months, creating delays and backlogs. The ceremony held in Harare this Friday marks the official start of work on the Zimbabwe Arts Digital Gateway, a mobile and web system set to streamline how creative players register, license, and interact with the National Arts Council.
We are formalizing a partnership that marks the beginning of a transformative digital journey, one that responds to the needs of our artists, to strengthen our operational efficiency and to align our institution with the national digitalization agenda.
The agreement also includes a 10-year capacity building program to ensure the council eventually takes full ownership and management of the system.
This vision aligns fully well with the country's push towards digital transformation for fast and efficient service delivery. Indeed, this has been the hallmark of the Second Republic, ensuring that efficiency is done in every area, leaving no one and no place behind. The platform we are partnering to create will reduce registration timelines from months to days or even hours.
The new system will allow online registrations, automated renewals, secure payments, real-time dashboards, and a central database that moves historical records from paper into digital form. The initiative ensures no artist or province is left behind, bringing Zimbabwe's creative sector firmly into the digital age. Patience Nyagato, CBC News, Harare.
Our way off to a break. We'll give you sport when we come back.
welcome wherever you are. And Mamouche, room to shoot. He well and truly did. It's an opportunity. What a shot to Seno! Tarkowski! Scott's got to be careful. Bukayo Saka! But it's Salah, and that one delivers!
Never miss a play, home or away. Stream all Premier League games live on Showmax.
Thank you for staying with us. Giants Dynamos have strengthened their place in Zimbabwean football history after lifting the Chibuku Super Cup for the third season in a row, becoming the first club to complete the three-peat. They achieved the milestone with a hard-fought 1-0 victory over Triangle United in a dramatic final at Gibo Stadium this Saturday.
The afternoon began in chaotic fashion, with the afternoon delayed by 20 minutes as both teams argued over which match balls were to be used. The dispute briefly threatened to overshadow the occasion. Once the contest finally got underway, the intensity on the pitch matched the off-field tension. Both clubs had survived relegation only a week earlier and were desperate to end a turbulent season on a high. Dynamos were not just hunting another trophy, they were chasing a place in exclusive company until this Sunday. Only FC Platinum, Dynamos and Harare City had lifted the Chibuku Super Cup twice. Dimbare have now moved into a class of their own. Despite a Triangle controlling long stretches of the match and backed by a lively home crowd, it was the visitors who found the decisive touch. Substitute Inacio Perez stepped up in the 80th minute, firing home a superb goal that stunned the stadium and sealed the victory. The victory caps an unlikely finish to a campaign in which Dynamos has spent most of the year fighting relegation. Yet at Gibo, they summoned the resolve of champions and cemented their standing as one of Zimbabwe's enduring football powerhouses. Lawrence Tusida, ZBC News, Triangle.
Bulawayo Giants Highlanders will part ways with head coach Enrique Peter de Jong after resolving not to renew his contract that expires at the end of the year. The development has, however, been met with mixed feelings from Bosso fans.
Yet another disappointing season for Bosso has been capped off by the firing of coach Enrique Peter de Jong. Highlanders, just like the other big two, Dynamos and Cape United, spent the whole season fighting for survival rather than the league title. After the club finished the season on 11th position with 39 points, Highlanders chairperson Kenneth Mhlope this Saturday confirmed through a statement that they are parting ways with the Dutch expatriate to join the Bulawayo side mid-season. The club downplayed what could be a fallout by saying the decision not to renew de Jong's contract at the end of this year was by mutual consent. Bosso fans believe the problem lie beyond the coaching department.
Ngokubona kwami ezimlandeli weHighlanders, iproblem eBosso iku-executive le committee. Yikho lapho kule nkinga khona ukuthi kumele siqale silungisise ucommittee yethu le executive yethu kuvotwe singavota sesibakwazi ukuthi ucoach obuyayo uyabuya ezodlala ngoba nawo kathesi into yenzakalayo anade sibaxoxa ucoach baphinda baxoxa ucoach baphinda baxoxa ucoach so iproblem ayikho kuma coaches ayikho kuma players siproblem yethu ingale phezulu.
Mina I think uDieng was building something acho so ukuthi bamxoxela phana I don't know inkinga yokuthi Bosso they don't give ama coaches a long term manje. uDieng I think he was building something. Yes, ungene isikhathi esincane. So but I think iproblem kumele balungisise khona phana phezulu.
Ngibona ngani iproblem laphana ikubo Morgan ngali executive. Morgan lwana wasuka kuwanke ebulele. Wabuya labo try bakhe ngale ku Highland. Kathesi ucoach ucoach achiye ama assistant. Abuye futhi axoche ucoach achiye unalana ama assistant. Which means iboard yona lana very as from kumhlophe kusiya phansi kwaphana lo Morgan wakhe. Kumele bahambe lo try wakhe.
Regardless of what fans say, de Jong is carrying the cross after saving the sinking ship with 1 win and 7 draws from 8 matches he presided over. Mthokozi Sidube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
In an effort to fight the scourge of drug and substance abuse, Chikomba West constituency this Friday hosted the Tatenda Mavetira netball and soccer tournament at Garo Stadium in Chivu.
The third edition of the tournament, which is the brainchild of Chikomba West legislator Honorable Tatenda Mabetera, has positioned sport in the fight against drug and substance abuse in the district.
Mashoko andinoda kutaura kuma youth ndekuti zvinodhaka chachirwere chapinda munyika. Zvinodhaka hasisiri zvekuti unozviwana zvichinzi mwana wekwanhengi mwana wekwanhengi. Zvinoita zviri padhuze ndizvozvi kugadzira mitambo yakafanana nenhabvu, mitambo yakafanana nebhora remadzimai, mitambo yakafanana nevolleyball. Zvinotipa isu kuti mhuri yedu vana vanga vachinge vari panzvimbo imwe cheteyo, vanga varipo vachichengetedzwa, vachionekwa ivo kuti vari kuita zvinotibatsira vachisiyana nekutora zvinodhaka.
Nhasi unotauya pano kuti tive tichiudza vechidiki kuti vasiye zvinodhaka. Tauya pano zvakare kuva tichivaudza kuti President vaMnangagwa vane chido nemi nekuti muite zvinhu zvinoita kuti mubudirire pakurarama kwenyu.
The youths who took part in the tournament are appreciative of the initiative.
Ndoda kuti mitambo iyi yakadai so yauya na Honorable Minister Mabetera inotibata semayouth kuti tibve muno kusangana mune zvinodhaka. Tichiwanawo zvetikuita zvinokeep our body busy.
Zvamuri kuita kuti tiite zvinoita kuti tisiye musikanzwa isu vanasikana zvizhinji zvinoitawo kuti tisiyewo madrugs zvakanyanya.
Ward 12 won the men's final, beating Ward 13 4-2 on penalties, while Ward 11 was crowned netball champions. Apart from the netball and soccer finals, the fans were treated to some boxing displays courtesy of Charles Manucci Boxing Academy.
Now, the ongoing Bulawayo Amateur Swimming Association Senior Championships are exposing local athletes to stiff competition to improve their qualification times.
Making the cut for national team has been every swimmer's dream. The Basa Senior Championships are a platform to improve qualifying times and be exposed to international competition. Local swimmers believe the championships have positioned them for major competitions after improving their times.
Yeah, there's lots of tough competition, lots of good swimmers. Sometimes it's tough to beat your time, improve your PB. Sometimes you add, sometimes you drop, so it's an up and down.
I've participated very well because I've gotten the times that I've wanted, and some of them I can swim like competitively, like nationally.
The tournament is being used as part of a springboard to develop the sport in Matabele North in Botswana.
This is very, very important since our club is a developmental club. And thanks to Basa, I think it's our second time coming for a competition such as of this magnitude. And this has actually helped the children, helped the team to get more exposure, to develop their talent and to develop their skill.
Our third time that we've come to Basa. Botswana Swimming and Sports Association and the Bulawayo Amateur Swimming Sports Association have built a long-term relationship in terms of developing swimming. What we've done for this particular tournament is we've brought a developmental team mixed with a couple of national team swimmers for exposure because we believe the Bulawayo Senior Championships are providing us with the ideal competition before our nationals in Botswana.
The Senior Championships have received a huge boost after the sport was included in the national strategy to develop sport across schools.
It is a very proud moment to me to be associated with this event as the guest of honor, because whether it is cricket or it is swimming, at the end of the day it's a sport, and swimming is one of the sport which falls under my new project, the Emerson Mnangagwa National Sports and Community Development Initiative, which will be launching very soon. Everything is in progress at the moment.
The curtain will come down on the Senior Championships on Sunday with an award ceremony to honor athletes. Mtogozi Stuwe, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
That's News at 8 for tonight. Thank you for giving us your time. Good night.
Good night.